Minimalism could be the difference between whether you're actually on the rat race or if you're out of the rat race and saving yourself so much time and you get to start living life now. But before we get into that, give me the three freebies: like, share, and subscribe. I'm your host for the Film and Fair podcast, The Spencer Perspective, and we have work to do. Let's get to it. What is minimalism? I'll throw this link down in the low bar so you have access to it. But this is a practical guide to a minimalist lifestyle. If you're curious about new to or simply interested in learning more about minimalism, this is a great place to start. Below, you'll find various definitions of minimalism, the benefits, challenges, and real life examples so you can decide if minimalism is right for you. Spoiler alert, it probably is. Ironically, this isn't going to be a minimum post about minimalism. It's a more comprehensive one, so get comfortable and enjoy learning the process. For my wife, Amy, and me, it all started in early 2014 when we learned about the idea of minimalism. While we both explored concepts around mindfulness and intentional living, we hadn't yet come across the concept of minimalism outside of modern art. We had no idea minimalism would have as big an impact as it did. Looking back, it has been one of the most important changes we've implemented in our lives. So minimalism is how I reduce distractions in my life so I can do more of what matters. If you're not feeling overwhelmed with the idea of doing more of the things that matter most to you, your calendar is overscheduled, or your physical space is filled with items that don't serve you and your family, minimalism will help you make more space in your life. Space to take bigger risks, try something new, or simply spend more time with the people you care about. Over time, minimalism can potentially help in making a radical lifestyle change, like moving to a new city, changing careers, or exploring entrepreneurship. So here's a sidebar for me. I think that the reason why minimalism can actually save you is because if you start thinking about it, take a look at all the possessions that you have around you. Like, think about what's in the closet. Think about what's under the bed. Think about what's in the food pantry. What haven't you seen in the last 3 to 6 months? If there's any item in your life right now that, say for annual use, if you haven't used an item for 3 to 6 months, it's a good chance you don't need that item in your life. It's causing clutter. Get rid of it. You don't have enough time. You got to figure out how to minimize your time to make the most of it. Your time is yours and doesn't belong to anyone else. You can minimize your time. You don't have to necessarily hang out with someone or even family members if you don't want to. The way how you use your time is the way how you use your time. You can minimize how you use it, and you can minimize what you have. So, what is minimalism? Minimalism is defined as a design or style in which the simplest and fewest elements are used to create the maximum effect. Minimalism had its origins in the arts, with the artwork featuring simple lines, only a few colors, and careful placement of those lines and colors. More recently, it has become representative of a lifestyle that aims to remove clutter from all facets of life. Here at Break the Twitch, we define minimalism as a lifestyle practice focused on minimizing distractions that keep you from doing what matters to you. So minimalism is all about owning only what adds value and meaning to your life, as well as the lives of people you care about, and removing the rest. It's about removing the clutter and using your time and energy for things that remain. We only have a certain amount of energy, time, and space in our lives. In order to make the most of it, we must be intentional about how we're living each day. Here's a quote by Annie Dillard. How we spend our days is, of course, how we spend our lives. There are many different approaches to minimalism. It's just really a tool to help you prioritize what's important in your life. That's what I actually kind of love the most about minimalism, is that it's not one size fits all type of recipe. We all live specifically different lives. So our own iteration of minimalism is going to look different from one case to the next. With that being said, you have to learn for me, how I became a minimalist. I used to have a 2-bedroom apartment. I don't have a 2-bedroom apartment, and I lived in New York City. So you can only imagine how much that was costing. Now, I live in a room. All my belongings, all my possessions in the world are in, literally, for what it's worth, one room. I can actually say that I'm happy living my life the rest of my life this way, because I don't have too many assets. I don't have a whole house. I don't require one. As long as I have a bed, somewhere to rest my head, I'm going to be fine and okay. I actually don't require a car, personally speaking, but a car is very useful if that's how you so see fit. See how that works? You can pick and choose what's in your life, what's minimal to you. It isn't what's minimal to the next person. Someone could live in a burlap sack and that's all that they have. Pack of cigarettes and maybe 2 pair of underwear. And that's all that they need. Maybe someone else needs a whole apartment. That's minimal to them. For me, just living in a room, having a clean bathroom to actually, hit the pot, the kitchen, cooking, that pot, my room. That's all I practically need. I don't require a full apartment like I used to, unless the cost is minimal. I'm not dealing with those maximum costs anymore. You got to learn how to cut specific costs out of your life. All those subscriptions for TV shows, you need to find 3, 4, 5 friends. You all have different television shows that you focus on, and you all exchange logins with each other. Now you have 4 or 5 logins for the price of one. You got to kind of figure this out. If you actually find a little bit of a tribe, you can all lean on each other and potentially make your lives cheaper. And one of my guys in one of my groups, I'm gonna give him a shout out. I don't know if you're ever gonna watch this, but my man Johnny Storm, you know who you are. And when but he wants to start a susu. And I think a susu, if you do it the right way, it can serve you because you're paying into it, but you're also going to receive that on the back end as well too. I can't explain a susu as of right now because it has nothing to do with minimalism, but it can help with minimalism if that's something you're looking to do. Let's get back to the actual article. There are many different approaches to minimalism, but it's really just a tool to help you prioritize what's important in your life. Your life. Joshua Becker of Becoming Minimalist offers this definition. Minimalism is the intentional promotion of the things that bring you joy and the removal of those that do not. It might be called simple living, tiny living, intentional living, or a myriad of other things, but there is at least one common thread. The idea of curating things we own to best reflect our priorities and vision for our lives. If the idea of minimalism sounds intimidating to you, or if you've seen some images and thought that's a nice idea, but I never want to live like that, don't worry. You could benefit from applying minimalism in your life, whether you live in a tiny home, suburban house, or a mansion. You can use minimalism as a guiding philosophy. Remember that, it's a guiding philosophy, not an end-all be-all. Use it how you see fit. It's a tool. You use it to your own end. You can use minimalism as a guiding philosophy and customize based on what works best for you. Here are some minimalism guidelines that work best for Amy and me over the past several years of intentional living. And they have a link there, which no, I'm not going to grab it. So look, here's some common misconceptions of minimalism. Contrary to what some people think, there aren't actually any rules. There aren't any actual rules to minimalism. There's no official board of minimalism to determine whether or not you're doing minimalism right. Minimalism truly looks different for everyone. Remember that. It's unique. You don't have to own below a certain number of items. You can still have nice things. And no, you don't need to get rid of your favorite collection, whether it's books, shoes, or music. Minimalism doesn't have to look white-walled, modern, sparse homes you've probably seen in magazines and video, which is a common minimalism mistake. Minimalism is also not a one-and-done project. Amy and I have used minimalism as a continual practice to ensure everything in our lives is working for us and our vision, not against us. We've used it over the years to make substantial changes in our careers, home, lifestyle, buying behaviors, and more recently, our big move across the country. Everyone can benefit from applying the principles of minimalism to their lives. It's a process of removing distractions and things that no longer add values to our lives. So there it is. Realistically, everyone should be a minimalist. That's true, but we live in a very consumer-based society and materialistic, so that's never going to happen. But there it is. Minimalism, it's a tool that you can use to enhance your quality of life in any single way you so see fit. So long as you're removing more than you're bringing in. Doesn't that make sense? You had to remove more from your life than you bring in. You start doing that, by that very definition, you are a minimalist. You're doing better. I'm doing better. We all are. This is the Firm and Fair podcast, and I'm out.